Okay. Everybody's been asking what it's like to be a teen parent and like my story, kind of. So, I am here to tell you. When I was 15 years old, I found out that I was pregnant and that I was going to have a little baby. I was at that age where like, you don't really think about, oh, I could have a kid and like my life could be changed forever. I was like hanging out with my friends, like trying to focus on myself. And then someone introduced me and Justin. We hung out one night and then we clicked and we started hanging out all the time. And things like went really quickly. Like me and Justin got to know each other. We were like best friends. It felt like we knew each other forever. Justin and I met April 18th. And then we just clicked. We became really close friends. We were like hanging out all the time. Justin had a huge crush on me. I started to like him back. But I was like afraid because like I just got out of a relationship like 4 or 5 months before. And then we started like getting really close. So we were always together. We were inseparable. He had to leave his parents' house because they didn't like him being a teenager and wanting to go out with his friends all the time and wanting to hang out with people that he chose. Like his friends would drink and party and his parents didn't like it. And Justin was a kid, so of course he went to a couple of parties, you know. So he decided to leave his parents' house at 17. And when he moved out, my mom and I told him that he could come live with us. So he started to live with us, and then he didn't really like living with a girl yet because he wasn't ready, which is 100% understandable. So he would just come over to my house for like 4 days at a time and started living with a friend. I decided I wanted to go to Ocean City, like it was a big family thing. Like my mom was there, my sister, and then I got to bring somebody. And I decided that I wanted to bring Justin. So when we were on vacation, I noticed that I was really hungry, like all the time, and I'm not one to eat a lot at all, by any means. I used to be able to go like 3 or 4 days without eating anything and be 100% fine. So when I was in Ocean City, my mom realized that I was being hungry and being bitchy, and that's not like me at all. So she was like, "You're definitely pregnant." We were on the boardwalk, and we had to walk a long ways to buy food, and I didn't want to walk all that way. I didn't want to wait. I wanted it right then and there. And my mom's the same way. She doesn't eat a lot. She never has. But the only time she did was when she was pregnant. So Justin was really paranoid. You know, he'd never had a real relationship before. I'm his first. So, and we were both terrified. I'm 15, he's 17. Well, at the time, he was 15, or he was 17, I was 15. And he started like really overthinking, and I didn't think I was pregnant. I was like, haha, we have to go feed the baby. I made jokes about it, thinking I was not pregnant. Came home, I went to Ocean City with like $100, came back with like $20. Justin came back with no money. He brought $300, spent it all. So he was like, "Kelsey, can you give me that money and we buy a pregnancy test to make me feel better?" So I was like, "Okay, you can take my money." So he came from his friend's house, picked up my money, went out, bought me a pregnancy test. And he didn't have a phone at the time either. So like he would use his friends to like talk to me. I took the test after he left to go back to his friend's house. And keep in mind, I had no contact to him at all. Could not talk to him. So I took the test and I was like joking around like, haha, I'm gonna prank him and I'm gonna tell him that like I'm pregnant because I know I'm not and it's not gonna come up positive. There was 2 pink lines. It was like really faint. So I ran to my sister and I was like, oh my god, like I'm terrified. And she was like, it's okay, it's like barely there, that line's barely there, so it cannot be like positive. It could just be like something wrong with the test. And then we read on the box and it says, pregnant even if faint line. And I was like, oh my god. Like I was terrified. I was like, I did not want to have to tell Justin because we both like were so young and it was like really scary for both of us. After I found out I was pregnant, I told him and he was not very happy about it, honestly. He was very scared, which understandable, but he like wasn't very good at supporting my feelings. He like felt the way he felt and he could only focus on that, which is understandable, but at the same time I kind of felt a little alone. But I was not about to give up my baby. Not for a minute, not for a second did I think that. I thought I need to stand up and I need to be a good mom, I need to be a good woman, and I need to take responsibility for what I had just created. I went to every appointment, I stopped drinking coffee, no caffeine, I stopped taking Tylenol, could not take any, I looked up everything to make sure it was safe before I put it in my body. Everything was good. I was high risk of preeclampsia, which if you don't know what that is, I'll just insert what it is. Basically, it's a condition where your heart, like your blood pressure, goes up and it's very unsafe for you and the child. I was very scared because my sister had preeclampsia when she gave birth to my little niece. And it was so bad when she was in the hospital, like she could not see, she went blind, she almost died giving birth to my little niece, so I was already terrified, but then that just made it 10 times worse. I kept saying, if I do get preeclampsia, just save the baby, don't think about me, and my mom and Justin were both like, no, that's not gonna happen, we're thinking about you, if something happens, it's you. And of course, me being a mom, I didn't want that. I wanted Jace, but everything turned out fine. No preeclampsia. I was told to take low-dose aspirin, which decreases the risk by 24%. And it worked for me. Yeah, and then after being pregnant for 9 months, April 8th came around, which was my due date. And the day before, on April 7th, I remember feeling very sick. Like, I just felt like I had the flu. Like, I was not feeling good at all. My stomach was hurting so bad. There was so much pressure. And that night of April 7th at 9 p.m., I believe, my water broke. I went to climb in bed with Justin, or climb on the couch with Justin and watch a movie, and as I turned, I felt a big pop and felt a gush. And I was already terrified because Justin decided to show me a bunch of videos of people giving birth and screaming and crying and watching the baby come out. And that, on top of me already being afraid and already feeling like, can I be a good mom? And then when April 7th came around and I went into labor, I was so terrified. But my labor story, or my labor experience, was not bad at all. I thought giving birth would be so horrible, but they make it sound way worse than it is, honestly. Giving birth was not as painful as they say. I mean, the contractions, don't get me wrong, they're freaking painful, and they hurt so bad that you couldn't even talk. But then there's a little break. Like, you have a contraction for like 30 seconds, a minute, and then it's like a minute where you don't have any pain, and then the contraction comes again. It's just a repeated cycle, and they get closer and closer together as you get further and further into labor. Most people get their epidurals at like 5 centimeters, you know, sometimes before then. Like, some people get it at 2, and they didn't give me mine until I was almost at 8 centimeters, and I did not give birth until I was well over 10, which I didn't even know was possible. And then I was in labor from, I think it was from 9, I don't know, I was in pain the whole like day before, so I could have been in labor the entire day before. 9 p.m. until 5:34 a.m., which is when Jace arrived. And then we took him home. We got to take him home after 3 days in the hospital. I was not feeling good. I just wanted to go home and sleep in my own bed and be comfortable and just take my baby home. But sadly, I had to spend 3 days in the hospital, and I think that's due to breastfeeding, or maybe they just keep you for 3 days. I have no idea. Was the 10th? Maybe, I don't know. I think it was the 10th. I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, we came home and we got him all settled in. We already had the crib built. We did that while I was pregnant. We had all of his stuff ready. I had my baby shower, which was really awesome. So we were already all prepared. And now Jace is a little 9-month-old. to moms who are like unsure if they want to keep their kid or not, or they feel like they're too young, you're not. You can do anything that you put your mind to. I had the exact same feeling of feeling like I couldn't do it, feeling like I was not capable of raising a human being to be a really good kid. I think I'm doing a pretty good job. I have a very, very happy kid. I'm so glad it got me and Justin to get our lives on track. We're about to buy a house. I get my license in a week. We got our lives together. I'd never dropped out of school. I'm still working on that. It's just, they say that you can't finish school, you can't do this, you can't do that when you're a mom. Like, it stops you from doing everything. It does not stop you. It does, however, make it harder because you have to care for your child and you can't just like leave your child to go to school. But I do online school and I can balance having my baby, having to do school, having to do driver's ed, which I did already, do drive times, and it makes it a little bit harder, but as long as you have a support system, you'll be fine. And as long as you can love and care for your little baby, that's all that matters. I hope I talked about enough. I don't know if I left anything out, but see you in the next one.